Have you ever wondered why some men effortlessly capture a woman's attention while others are completely overlooked? It's not because they're better looking, wealthier, or even more charming with their words. It's because they know a secret that most men don't. True attraction doesn't start with physical touch. It starts in the mind. Here's the reality. If you don't understand this, you're already at a disadvantage. You're missing the opportunity to stand out, to be the man she can't stop thinking about, and to create a connection that leaves a lasting impression. The unfortunate truth is that most men spend their lives relying on surface-level tactics, physical gestures, over-the-top compliments, or desperate attempts to win her over. These might work temporarily, but they'll never give you the kind of influence that lasts in her mind long after you're gone. But here's the good news. This is a skill you can master. The Stoics taught us that power and control start from within, and when applied to attraction, you unlock something most men will never even realize exists. In this video, I'll show you how to flip the script, how to build deep magnetic attraction without ever laying a finger on her. By the end, you won't just know what to do, you'll understand how to stand apart in a way that makes her crave your presence. Number 1. The power of non-physical attraction. Most men believe that attraction is all about physical touch, whether it's a casual hand on her shoulder, a hug, or a flirty brush of your fingers. But here's the reality. Physical gestures might grab her attention for a moment, but they rarely leave a lasting impact. The kind of attraction that stays with her, the kind she thinks about long after you're gone, doesn't come from touch. It's built on something far deeper, the mind. You see, humans are wired to connect on an emotional and psychological level before anything physical even comes into play. The way you look at her, the words you choose, and the energy you project can create an irresistible pull. When you get this right, she'll feel something magnetic drawing her toward you, and she won't even fully understand why. Think about those classic movie scenes. Two characters exchanging glances from across a room. No words, no touch, but you can feel the tension. That spark isn't just for the movies. It's a real phenomenon. It's the result of mastering non-physical attraction. When you tap into this power, it's more potent than anything physical could ever achieve. Let's put it into perspective. If you rely on physical touch, it's like writing with invisible ink. The moment you stop, the impression fades. But when you master the subtle art of non-physical attraction, it's like engraving your presence in her mind. She'll replay your words, your energy, and your vibe long after you've left the room. Here's a practical example. Imagine you're having a conversation with her. Instead of rushing to fill every silence or trying to impress her with grand gestures, you let the moment breathe. You hold her gaze just a second longer than usual, let a small smile linger, and speak with a calm, deliberate tone. In that moment, you've done something most men overlook. You've created a sense of curiosity, a question in her mind. Why does he feel so different from everyone else? Contrast this with what most guys do. They lean too much, laugh too loudly, or overdo their compliments. This kind of approach screams desperation, and desperation is the fastest way to kill attraction. The secret to non-physical attraction lies in understanding that less is more. It's about creating a dynamic where she's drawn to you, not because of what you're doing, but because of the space you leave for connection to grow. When you focus on mastering this subtle energy, you're not just another guy trying to impress her. You're the man she can't stop thinking about. Here's the bottom line. Real attraction begins in the mind, not the body. When you shift your approach to focus on emotional and mental connections, you elevate yourself above every other man in her life. This is just the start. In the next section, I'll show you how to take this foundation and turn it into something even more powerful. Stay tuned. Number 2, how to make her feel truly seen. Here's where most men fall short. They think impressing a woman means being loud, flashy, or showering her with endless compliments. But the truth is, none of that makes her feel truly connected to you. If you want to stand out, you need to do something most men rarely think about: make her feel seen. When was the last time someone genuinely noticed the small things about you? Maybe it was the way you laugh, a small detail you mentioned in passing, or even your favorite coffee order. Didn't it feel amazing when they remembered? That's exactly what women crave too, a sense that they're more than just their appearance or a fleeting presence in someone's life. Think about this. When you show her, without words, that you see her for who she really is, not just surface-level details, it creates a connection she won't forget. And the best part, it's not hard to do. Let's make this practical. The next time she mentions something small, like her favorite book, a quirky habit, or even a random story about her day, make a mental note. Later, casually bring it up in conversation. For example, if she mentions her favorite author, ask her opinion about one of their books a week later. Or if she talks about her favorite dessert, surprise her by suggesting a cafe that serves it. These small gestures show her that you're paying attention, and believe me, they stick. But it's not just about remembering details, it's also about how you listen. Most people listen to respond, not to truly understand. When she talks, stop thinking about what you're going to say next. Instead, focus entirely on her words, her tone, and what she's trying to express. Give her the kind of attention that makes her feel safe, like she's being truly heard. For example, if she shares a story about a stressful day at work, resist the urge to jump in with advice or solutions. Instead, say something like, "That sounds really frustrating. How did you handle it?" By doing this, you're not just listening, you're showing empathy, and that makes all the difference. When you make her feel seen, something powerful happens. She starts to feel comfortable around you in a way that's rare. She'll think, "This guy doesn't just see me as another face in the crowd, he actually values who I am." And that feeling is addictive. She'll begin to crave your presence because you make her feel understood and appreciated in a way most men never could. Here's the kicker. Making her feel seen isn't about grand gestures or over-the-top compliments. It's about the small, thoughtful moments that show her she's more than just a passing thought to you. So the next time you're with her, slow down, pay attention to the little things she says and does, and be present. Because when you make her feel seen, you're not just standing out, you're creating a connection she'll hold on to long after you're gone. Number 3, the art of subtle challenge. Here's a fact that most men don't realize. Women are naturally drawn to a man who presents a challenge, not someone who plays games or acts disinterested, but someone who knows his worth and doesn't fall head over heels the moment she smiles at him. Think about it. What makes someone memorable? Is it the person who's always eager, always available, and quick to say yes? Or is it the person who's just a little out of reach, the one who makes you wonder about their next move? The answer is obvious. When you create a subtle challenge, you spark curiosity and intrigue. She starts thinking about you more, wondering what you're up to, and even questioning how much she truly means to you. This dynamic flips the script, putting you in control of the interaction without being manipulative. Let me give you an example. Imagine you've been texting a woman and she suggests meeting up last minute. Most guys would jump at the chance, canceling their plans to accommodate her. But a man who understands his value would respond differently. You could say, "I'd love to, but I already have plans tonight. Let's plan for another day." What does this do? It shows her that you have a life of your own and that you're not dropping everything just because she snapped her fingers. This doesn't make you seem uninterested. It makes you seem self-respecting and confident. She'll start to see you as someone with standards, a man whose time is valuable. Here's the key. Playing hard to get isn't about being cold or aloof. It's about balancing your interest in her with your standards for yourself. Show her that you enjoy her company, that you're genuinely interested, but also make it clear that you don't hand over your time and attention to just anyone. Another practical example. Let's say she asks for a favor that you're not comfortable with, like helping her move furniture on short notice. Instead of saying yes out of obligation, respond with, "I'd really like to help, but I've already got something planned. Let's figure out another time." This communicates that you're not a pushover, and trust me, that speaks volumes. Here's why this works. When you present a challenge, you activate something called reciprocal interest. This means she starts valuing your attention more because it's not easily given. She begins to see that being in your life is something special, something she needs to earn. The beauty of this approach is that it's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about showing her that you're a man who values himself, and that's incredibly attractive. Number 4, mastering the power of tone and language. Here's something most men overlook. How you say something is often more important than what you say. Your tone of voice and choice of words can create an undeniable pull that lingers in her mind. It's not just about the content of your conversation, it's about the energy and intention behind your words. A man who speaks with confidence, calmness, and control instantly stands out. Women subconsciously pick up on these subtle cues, and when done right, your tone can communicate strength, stability, and intrigue, all without needing to be overly flashy or loud. Let's start with your tone. A calm, steady, slightly lower voice projects confidence and composure. Imagine a man who speaks deliberately, taking his time with each word. His tone is deep, measured, and full of intention. That's the kind of presence that commands attention. Now compare that to the guy who talks too fast, stumbles over his words, or fills every pause with nervous chatter. His energy screams insecurity. The lesson here is simple. Slow down, take your time, and let your words carry weight. Here's an example. Instead of rushing to say, "I really like spending time with you," try this. Pause for a moment, meet her eyes and say, "You know, I really enjoy spending time with you." The slight pause before "really" adds depth and intentionality to your words. It creates anticipation and makes her lean in, wondering what you'll say next. Next, we move to the power of suggestive language. It's not about being overly flirtatious or inappropriate. It's about choosing words that hint at depth and mystery. For instance, instead of saying, "You're interesting," you could say, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out." That subtle shift changes the dynamic entirely. Now she's wondering, what does he see in me? What makes him curious? You've created a moment of intrigue, and intrigue is unforgettable. Another way to use suggestive language is by steering the conversation away from surface-level topics. Instead of talking about the weather or what she did over the weekend, dive deeper. Ask her something like, "I get the feeling you've had experiences most people wouldn't believe. Care to share one?" By framing the conversation this way, you're inviting her to open up and share something meaningful. This creates a connection that goes beyond small talk, the kind of conversation that leaves her thinking about you long after it's over. Finally, remember the golden rule: less is more. You don't need to overload the conversation with constant hints or attempts to impress. Let your tone be smooth and steady, and let your pauses create space for her to lean in. The quieter your confidence, the louder your presence becomes. When you master this, something incredible happens. She starts feeling drawn to you, not because you're saying the perfect things, but because you're creating a feeling she can't ignore. Number 5, the eyes have it. Powerful eye contact. Let's talk about one of the most underrated but incredibly powerful tools in attraction: eye contact. When done right, it creates a connection so intense that she feels it in her bones. The way you look at her, how deeply, how confidently, can say 1,000 words without you uttering a single one. Here's the truth. Most people aren't used to someone truly looking at them. Eye contact is vulnerable, and that's exactly why it's so effective. It shows her that you're fully present, confident enough to hold her gaze without hesitation. It's rare, and anything rare immediately stands out. But here's the key. It's not about staring her down or trying to dominate the moment. It's about holding her gaze just a second longer than usual, letting her feel the weight of your attention. When done subtly, it sends a silent message. I see you, and I'm not afraid to show it. Let's put this into practice. Imagine you're having a conversation with her. Most guys will break eye contact too soon, looking down or away out of nervousness. But when you hold her gaze as she speaks, it shows her that you're not just listening to her words, you're tuned into her, fully present in the moment. For example, if she's telling you a story about her day, resist the urge to look away or glance at your phone. Keep your eyes on hers, nod slightly, and maybe even offer a small smile. This subtle act of presence makes her feel like she's the only person in the room, and that feeling is magnetic. Here's another tip. Let her break the gaze first. When she looks away, it's often a sign that she's feeling the intensity of your attention, in a good way. When she glances back to check if you're still looking, that's your cue that you've got her intrigued. But don't mistake this for an invitation to be overly intense. The goal isn't to intimidate, it's to make her feel comfortable yet captivated. This is where the concept of a soft gaze comes in. Instead of staring, keep your expression relaxed and warm. A slight smile can go a long way in making her feel at ease. Here's a pro tip. Eye contact is especially powerful during moments of silence. If the conversation pauses and you hold her gaze just a second longer, it creates tension, the good kind. It's a silent message that says, I'm here, I see you, and I'm interested. Why does this work so well? Because most people are afraid of vulnerability. By maintaining steady, confident eye contact, you show her that you're not afraid. You're signaling that you're comfortable with yourself, and that's incredibly attractive. When you pair this with everything we've covered so far, your tone, your words, and your presence, you become unforgettable. She'll find herself replaying those moments in her mind, wondering what it is about you that feels so different. Number 6. Building mystery. The power of being just out of reach. If there's one thing that keeps a woman thinking about you, it's mystery. Not the kind that feels distant or cold, but the kind that sparks curiosity, wondering what's going on in your mind and what your next move will be. Most men make the mistake of giving everything away too soon, sharing too much too quickly in an attempt to prove themselves. But what if I told you that holding back just a little can make you far more intriguing? A man who reveals everything up front leaves nothing for her to discover, and without curiosity, attraction fades. Think about it. What's more exciting? A book where you already know the ending, or one that keeps you guessing with every page? It's the same with attraction. When you build a sense of mystery, she becomes drawn to you, wanting to know more and thinking about you long after you've parted ways. Here's how you can master this art. Start by resisting the urge to overshare. When she asks about your weekend, instead of launching into a detailed play-by-play, give her just enough to spark her curiosity. For example, you could say, I had an interesting weekend. I'll tell you about it sometime. That simple line leaves her wondering, what happened? Why isn't he telling me now? This isn't about playing games or withholding important information. It's about pacing the flow of your connection. When you don't reveal all your cards at once, you create a dynamic that feels organic and exciting. Another way to build mystery is by maintaining a rich, independent life. Women are naturally drawn to men who have passions, hobbies, and goals outside of their interactions. If your entire world revolves around her, she'll sense it, and the intrigue will fade. But when you're a man with a life that's already fulfilling, she'll want to be part of that world. For instance, if you're working on a personal project or pursuing a new hobby, don't feel the need to explain every detail. Let her discover these parts of you over time. Maybe she'll notice how your eyes light up when you talk about something you're passionate about, or how dedicated you are to your goals. This slow unveiling keeps her interested and engaged. Here's another tip. Leave conversations on a high note. If you've just had a great talk, don't drag it out endlessly. Wrap it up with something like, "I've really enjoyed this, but I've got to run. Let's pick this up another time." By ending on a positive note, you leave her wanting more, and that's exactly where you want to be. Building mystery isn't about being elusive or hard to reach. It's about creating a dynamic where she feels like there's always more to learn about you. When you strike this balance, she'll find herself drawn to you in ways she can't fully explain. Remember, mystery isn't about hiding who you are. It's about revealing yourself in layers, giving her the time and space to truly appreciate the man you are. Number 7. Mastering the art of silence. Here's a secret weapon most men overlook: the power of silence. While many believe attraction is about what you say, the truth is, sometimes saying nothing at all can leave the strongest impression. A well-timed pause or a moment of calm speaks volumes, showcasing a level of confidence that words often can't. Most men feel the need to fill every moment of silence, rushing to keep the conversation going, afraid that a pause might feel awkward. But the man who understands the art of silence knows this. It's in those quiet moments that real connection happens. Imagine this: you're having a conversation with her, and there's a brief pause. Instead of scrambling to say something, you let the silence linger for just a moment, offering a slight smile and allowing the weight of the moment to speak for itself. That calm, unhurried energy tells her something important. It shows her that you're comfortable with yourself and not afraid to let the conversation breathe. Silence is powerful because it creates space for anticipation. She'll start wondering what you're going to say next, leaning in, waiting for your next move. In that anticipation, you're building tension, the good kind. Here's another way to use silence. When she asks a question, don't rush to answer. Take a moment to think before you speak. This not only gives your words more impact, but also shows her that you're thoughtful and deliberate. For example, if she asks, "What's something you're passionate about?" Don't blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. Pause, meet her eyes and say, "That's a great question. Let me think about how to answer it." This approach has two effects. First, it shows her that you're not trying to impress her with rehearsed answers. Second, it gives her a sense of importance, like her question deserves genuine thought. Silence is also an excellent tool during moments of vulnerability. If she opens up about something personal, don't rush to offer advice or change the subject. Hold the space for her words to settle. Let her know, through your presence, that you're there to listen and understand. One final tip: use silence to create mystery. If she asks about your weekend instead of giving a detailed explanation, let your response be short and intriguing, like, "It was interesting. Maybe I'll tell you about it someday." Then let the silence do the rest. Here's why this works. Most men rely on constant chatter to keep attention, but silence shows restraint. It communicates that you don't feel the need to prove yourself, that you're secure in who you are, and that kind of confidence is magnetic. The art of silence isn't about being quiet all the time. It's about knowing when to speak and when to let the moment speak for itself. When you master this, you create an aura of calm confidence and intrigue that she won't be able to resist. So, we've covered 7 powerful ways to create deep, irresistible attraction without ever laying a finger on her. Each taps into the subtle, often overlooked aspects of human connection: emotional presence, confidence, mystery, and even silence. But here's the real takeaway. None of this is about manipulation or playing games. It's about becoming a man who truly understands the art of connection. The Stoics believed that power comes from within, mastering your emotions and actions. When you apply this philosophy to attraction, you're not just trying to impress her. You're showing her that you're different. The man who stands out not because you're louder or flashier, but because you operate on a deeper level. Think about this. When you make her feel seen, when you subtly challenge her, when you leave room for mystery and let your words and silence speak for themselves, you're creating a dynamic that most men can't. You're giving her an experience she can't forget. But here's the key. This isn't just about her. It's about you. When you shift your focus from seeking her approval to mastering yourself, you elevate every aspect of your life. Attraction becomes effortless because it's rooted in who you are, not in what you're trying to do. Now it's time to put these ideas into action. Start small. Try holding her gaze a little longer, listening without interrupting, or leaving just enough unsaid to spark curiosity. You'll notice the difference almost immediately. Remember, real attraction doesn't start with touch. It starts in the mind. The man who masters this will always stand out. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Stoic Golden Rule for more insights like this. See you in the next video.